After spending way too much time in one of the most dangerous lands in Gielinor, the Rev Caves, I've noticed a few patterns that allowed me to escape relatively unscathed. The PvP world is definitely intimidating, but the community itself has always been formulaic and uninspired. Once you understand all of the advantages a PKer has at his disposal, you too shall be known as the boy who lived. There are 4 distinct types of players you will encounter in the Rev Caves. The first is the PVMer. A PVMer will pretty much always be skulled and wearing rags. He will immediately hop if he sees that you are occupying a spot, and he will generally show fear around any other players. The second is the bot. A bot will generally have very low combat, and he will immediately hop if there's someone else in his combat range. The third type of player is the PKer. There are 2 distinct types of PKers that you will encounter in the Rev Caves. The first is your standard PKer, wearing mage gear, trying to teleblock you or freeze you. The second type is the Claw Spec Rusher. The fourth and final type of player you'll encounter is the fake PVMer. A fake PVMer will generally be pretending to PVM, but he's unskulled in order to conceal spec weapons. He purposefully will not hop when he sees that you're occupying a spot, because he wants you to attack him. He's probably using this account in order to spot you so that he can PK you with either an alt or a clan member. A telltale sign that you're looking at a fake PVMer is that he will frequently and randomly go AFK while PVMing, because he's using an alt, probably to kill you. PVMers are the rarest of the Rev Cave populace. They mind their own business and give you your space. If you show any form of aggression towards them, they will run or tell you away. They can be chatty and just generally friendly, which is not what you expect from other players in this environment. If I notice that I'm dealing with a PVMer, I dial down the standard hostility that I would normally show other scum in the wildy. You should too. Some bots are more bold than others. They might hop after waiting a few seconds for the next mob spawn, or sit and wait indefinitely. The bot has the ability to pre-click mobs, which means they always attack them first, regardless of PID. It can be really helpful to have a lower combat alt account to simply show up when there's a bot that just won't go away. The bot will tick perfectly hop worlds upon seeing any potentially aggressive players, thus becoming someone else's problem. Bot density can vary wildly. My recent visit to the caves had an astonishingly low amount of bots. A few months ago, however, bots were flooding every single world to the point where PVMing became impossible without an alt. Most PKers who harass you are simply probing for weakness. If you show them that you can fight back, they will not only leave you alone in this instance, but they will generally avoid you in the future. The worst thing you can do in the wilderness is to just roll over and hand these losers your belongings. Once they get a taste of free money, they'll never stop. You want to be like a porcupine. Even if a predator gets a meal out of a porcupine, he sustains so much damage in the process that they learn to stay away for generations to come. I highly recommend bringing some sort of spec weapon, even if skulled. I usually use a Void Waker, but if you're afraid of losing it, you can still just use a DDS. You should also bring Vengeance if you're not planning on using magic. The Blighted Sacks are dirt cheap and very abundant in the Rev Caves. When getting attacked by a PKer, you should pretend to be afraid. Shoot them until unfrozen, then run away and make them chase you. After a little while of chasing and winning the fight, they'll get complacent and stop watching their own HP. The element of surprise is everything in the wilderness. This is your moment to strike. Pop Venge, break out your spec weapon, and dump your special attacks. Even if you don't kill them, they'll be shaken by the sudden turning of the tide, which is a great opportunity for you to get gap and escape. The most common strategy for claw spec rushing is to log in underneath another account, like a fake PVMer, so they can get very close to you without being seen. Venge is an incredibly important part of maintaining the element of surprise. When you Venge while standing still, you can move for a few ticks without your character model moving, as he's locked in the Vengeance animation. By the time you actually see the character model approaching you, he is already on top of you, ripping you apart. When you see a claw spec rusher approaching you, all you have to do is teleport away. They're essentially testing your reaction time, which is why it's so important to be aware of the alt and rags or fake PVMer they're using to spot you. Personally, I never tele away from claw spec rushers because they're risking bank to yoink my less than 1 mil in rags and loot. When I see them log in underneath their alt, I prep a Venge and get ready to heal. Then I try to pop their Revenge with my ranged weapon and immediately go for counter special attacks. All it takes is a little favorable RNG, and that idiot has just gifted you tens of millions. The fake PVMers are by far the worst part of PVMing in the Rev Caves. They are very hostile both in how they talk and act. Their behavior is the exact inverse of an actual PVMer. They hop from empty worlds looking for occupied ones. They aggressively try to attack your mob spawns before you. Since they're unskulled, they have all of the advantage in a fight, which is why they just exude venom. They want to get under your skin. In fact, they live for it. A player's gear pretty consistently expresses their intent. If they're wearing rags, they probably just want to PVM in peace. Conversely, if most of their gear is melee, like a Nezi helm and D-boots, they're almost certainly holding a secret spec weapon or two for anti-PKing. In spite of my better judgment, I attacked fake PVMers constantly, just to shut them up and force them away. If you have better control of your temper, unlike me, you should just do your best to avoid them. Either let them take one of your mob spawns or just hop when they show up muscling their way into your spot. It's really not worth the headache of dealing with them. Just to show you how easy it is to kill other people in the Rev Caves when you have the best tools at your disposal, I'm going to be going back into the place that I hate the most. But this time, actually prepared for battle. I'm going to be using a fake PVMer on my main account here. On the outside, all you can see is a web weaver, so I look like a genuine PVMer. But concealed underneath my hood is an Ancient God Sword and a Void Waker, as well as this Berserker ring. The second account I'll be using is this Zerker account that I made. I'll be using it as a Claw Spec Rusher. The Claw Spec Rusher is the laziest, easiest way to kill other people in the Rev Caves. I've got Eclipse Moon-On so that I can prioritize melee strength while also having a decent range bonus. And then after I've dumped both of my Claw Specs, I'm going to use the Heavy Ballista as a finisher. And if that doesn't work, I will immediately telly away, because all of my advantage has been used. This account has 92 combat. That's generally the lowest you can get while still having access to the Venge spell. 95 magic, 80 strength. I mean, he's just asking for it. Look at him. Look at what he's wearing. He's got no HP. Alright, I'm going for it. That was pretty easy. Yikes. I mean, he was just kind of standing there. Okay, there's 2 targets here. And actually, he's standing right on the perfect spot, so I can log in right underneath him. Finisher. Oh, you got away. And then we telly away like a little pussy. I mean, like, what did you expect? I'm just standing here. Is he trying to PK me? Like, it's so conspicuous.